In 1939, the United States wasn't ready for war. Its military ranked 18th in the world, smaller than Portugal's. But just 6 years later, America had become a global superpower, producing more planes, tanks, and weapons than any other nation in history. How did US manufacturing go from peacetime industry to war-winning machine? Let's find out. In 1939, as World War II erupted in Europe, the US military was poorly equipped for a global conflict. Just 1,700 military aircraft, around 300 tanks, fewer than 500,000 active personnel, a navy still modernizing from World War I. Most US factories were focused on making cars, textiles, and appliances, not weapons of war. That changed on December 7, 1941. Japan's surprise attack on Pearl Harbor killed over 2,400 Americans and forced the US into the war. President Franklin D. Roosevelt declared war and called on America's industries to mobilize like never before. Factories that once built cars, typewriters, and refrigerators were converted almost overnight. Detroit became the arsenal of democracy. Ford's Willow Run plant produced a B-24 bomber every 63 minutes. Chrysler built M4 Sherman tanks by the thousands. General Motors made aircraft engines, guns, and even submarines. Between 1941 and 1945, the numbers were staggering. Over 300,000 aircraft, more than 88,000 tanks, 257,000 artillery pieces, 6,000 major ships, and 88,000 landing craft. Over 2.5 million trucks and jeeps. By comparison, in 1939, the US had none of this scale. These numbers dwarfed Axis production. To meet the demand, over 6 million women joined the workforce, many for the first time. They became machinists, welders, and engineers. The face of wartime industry became Rosie the Riveter, symbolizing strength and unity on the home front. This wasn't just production, it was a cultural transformation. American manufacturing changed the course of the war. In Europe, US factories kept Allied forces supplied for the D-Day invasion. Over 5,000 ships and 11,000 aircraft were involved. In the Pacific, mass-produced aircraft carriers, battleships, and bombers gave the US total dominance at sea and in the air. By late 1944, US factories were churning out one plane every 5 minutes and one ship every day. This industrial firepower overwhelmed the Axis. Germany and Japan simply couldn't keep up. Germany produced about 120,000 aircraft in the war, less than half of what the US did. Japan's total aircraft production around 76,000. The US also produced more oil, rubber, food, and ammunition than all the Axis nations combined. This imbalance crushed enemy logistics. German tanks were superior, but there were 10 Shermans for every Tiger. Unlike Europe and Asia, American factories were untouched by war. With victory in 1945, the US emerged with the world's strongest military, a booming economy, and unmatched industrial capacity. Manufacturing didn't just help win the war, it made the United States the world's dominant superpower. From near unpreparedness to overwhelming force, America's manufacturing miracle was a key reason the Allies won World War II. The story of World War II is a story of courage, but it's also a story of steel, machines, and the unstoppable power of production. Subscribe for more stories that shape the world.